Hello everyone, my name is Cielo and welcome to my channel. So I have once again competed in Art Fight. This was my fourth year participating, and I chose Team Crystal. I ended up with 10 attacks and 3 doodles that technically count, but you'll see why at the end. I kind of consider them different. For this video, I'm gonna try to keep the commentary interesting and not repeat myself too much because the process for each drawing is fairly similar, but I do like to make art videos with commentary and talking, so I hope that it is interesting and lively for you, just because those are the kinds of videos that I like to watch. Yeah, this is my first time recording my art fight process, but it is not my first rodeo. I do it a little bit differently each year, but this is how I did it this year. And yeah, I hope you enjoy watching my process. And a big thank you to anyone watching who may have drawn my characters for their art fight, because I loved each and every attack I received. They made me so happy, and yeah, thank you. And without further ado, here is my 2025 art fight. So my dumbass, of course, forgot to record the time lapse for the first character, which is a shame because I really like this drawing. I think it is so cute. It's definitely one of my favorites. I noticed that a lot of times, the past 4 years I've done this, my first drawings have tended to be my favorites of the bunch. Not like my top favorites, but among my favorites. And I guess it's just because it's the first and I was so excited to get started. I ended up prepping for Art Fight quite a bit because I wanted to redo each of my characters, basic ref sheets. I also wanted to redo their thumbnails, and I didn't even get around to finishing all of those. But yeah, I was really excited for this year's art fight, and so I think I channeled all of that excitement and energy into the first drawing, which is probably why I like it so much. So this character, who is not named, but in their description they were listed as an amazing digital circus OC, and I do like that show quite a bit. I think it's a lot of fun, and so I thought it would be also fun to draw a fan character for the show. I don't usually draw fan characters just because it's not often I find something that I'm like really like a fandom that I'm super into on Art Fight. But yeah, I stumbled upon this character and I thought they were so cute that I wanted to draw them. And so I did, but I didn't record it, and I'm really sad about that. But you can look at them. The next character I drew was Lavender by the artist Moths. So this year I used Clip Studio Paint on my computer with a small Wacom tablet to draw each of these characters. So each year I've used different programs or medias, just because I like to take this drawing challenge to experiment with my process more so than like my style. So like in the past I've used, last year I did just traditional art, sometimes I used Procreate. My very first year I did Clip Studio and Procreate and traditional art, just literally whatever I felt like. This year I decided to keep it within one program just because I felt like consistency would probably be good. It's not something I always care too much about, but I decided to care about it this year. Also this year I wanted to prioritize speed and a lack of overthinking while somehow still maintaining interesting looking artwork. So I ended up letting myself do somewhat sketchy line art, I guess sketchy compared to what I can normally do. I'm always flipping on whether or not I prefer sketchy line art or clean line art. I really like both. I think the process of both is enjoyable, but I decided to do sketchy this time around for all these drawings. And then color was probably what I put the most emphasis on for each of these drawings, or just in general. It was kind of my strategy for trying to make each of these characters look eye-catching, or in my style, that is. So I would use like multiple blending layers for shadows and the highlights, and I also colored my line art, which is something that I've been doing a lot more recently in my digital art. I don't do that in traditional just because it's harder. I don't have like as much, well, it's not as easy with traditional, honestly. Even though I would say right now I prefer doing traditional art than digital. And yeah, for this character Lavender, I wanted to make her look pretty and magical because of her pastel color scheme. I also ended up making her look super shiny, which I wasn't really thinking about it in the moment, but I think it works for her. Because this is my second piece, I was still finding the coloring style I wanted to use. Looking at it now, there are things I would do differently, like maybe tweak the colors a little bit, but overall I still like how she came out. I thought it was a fun pose to do because her description said that she had a prehensile tail, and yeah, I think this is a really cool character. Next up, I drew two characters in one. This is Vera and Cairo by the artist Valentine Vimo. There were a few artists who I wanted to attack with two of their characters, but this ended up being one of the only ones where I did a pair of characters. And honestly, their interaction is not as interactive as I usually like to make drawings with multiple characters, but I did choose these poses intentionally because the characters do have tension between them, and I thought it was really interesting. The coloring isn't too special on this piece. What I actually like the most about this drawing is the lines, or also the sketch itself. Like, I really like the way I drew the hands. I think that the motion of her pulling the bandage is really nice. And yeah, I prefer like the way it is structured more so than like how I rendered it and colored it. Speaking about Art Fight as a whole, I kind of feel like I was pretty late to the party. I remember I would see it come up on my Instagram feed once a year, and I would be like so scared. I'm like, what the hell is Art Fight? What do these two words mean together? And I thought it was like super scary and complicated until it was the year 2022 when I decided to finally Google what is Art Fight. And it turns out, oh, it's actually not complicated at all. And I thought it was actually a really cool idea. So that's when I joined in 2022. And now this is my fourth year, and I'm having a really fun time. I've honestly had a good experience each year of Art Fight. I know recently people talk a lot about drama and how TikTok has affected Art Fight. I simply have not yet to experience any drama firsthand, any negative experiences really. Probably because I'm not on art TikTok, and I'm also good at minding my own business. I don't know. I'm just kind of pretty good at not getting into trouble. But yeah, but besides all that, I just think Art Fight is super fun. It's such a cool idea, and I'm just so glad to be a part of like this big thing. Even if there's like millions of users, maybe not millions. I think maybe like hundreds of thousands. Even if there's hundreds of thousands of people that I'll never get to draw their characters, but even within the small pool that I find each year, it's so much fun. I really do wish I could have drawn more character pairs together. Like I saved a few couples. I saved a few like just pairs of friends. Something I've been really trying to get better at over the past couple years is drawing character interactions. And it's something that I really enjoy now. Most of the time it's difficult for me trying to figure out how to position two bodies together and like have them not look awkward. So every time I do it, it's a good exercise, but it's also really rewarding because when I write stories, for me, storytelling and art go hand in hand. When I write stories, my favorite thing to write is character interaction and character relationships. So yeah, I had a lot of fun making this drawing. Next up, we have Rodney by Misty Nebula. And honestly, Rodney here is one of my favorite drawings that I made this year. I really like how the line art came out, as well as just like the undersketch. There's just the quality of a lot of different small things that I really, really like. So like that hand waving, and also the shape of the legs and the shoes. I really like how I drew them. This is kind of what I was thinking of when I talked about not overthinking. There is a simplicity to this style that gets the point across, and it was really satisfying to draw and to look at after it was finished. Maybe this is something that only makes sense to me as the person who went through the process of drawing it. I don't know if like any of those words I used would make sense to you as someone who's just the viewer. Most of what I enjoy about art is the process of making it. I have so much fun with the making of art, rather than just looking at a finished piece I can like put on my wall. Because most of the time my finished art just sits somewhere, like in a sketchbook or in a folder. But yeah, I love the process of drawing, and I really felt it the most with this character. I feel like the reason why I love art fights so much is because I love my OCs to death. They're my world, you know? And I want to give that same joy I feel when I think about my OCs. I want to give that joy to other people when I draw their OCs, even if I don't know a lot about them, even if they don't have like a long description, or even if they do have like a super long description. I'd love to read the lore behind other people's characters that I'm probably never gonna see like a finished story of. It's just so much fun, and I like to think that other people might feel the same way about my characters, and it just gives me so much joy. But also, I mean it when I say I would love this challenge, even if I didn't receive art of my OCs in return. I really like to draw other people's characters, and kind of poke into people's brains by seeing what their character designs look like. It's just so much fun, right? I don't know. But yeah, this is Rodney, and Rodney is one of my favorites. Oh, and the reason I drew teeth in the background, if you may be wondering or thinking that's a little odd, this character is interested in dentistry, which I think is a pretty cool trait. Maybe that's something I'll steal for one of my characters. Next up, this one is extra special because I made this drawing for my boyfriend. This is their character Mari. At first, I was just going to draw Mari by herself, but then I realized, she is so much like my baby girl Ivy that it would be extra sweet if I drew them together. So yeah, canonically they now know each other. Even though they don't exist in the same universe, they know each other. Yeah, like I even added text, short kings. They're both angry, short teenage girls, and I think there is something so special about that. Now, at this point in the month, unfortunately, outside factors were beginning to make me feel very lethargic and unmotivated. This happens every year. It's just kind of how the rise and fall of summer goes for me. But then, having a drawing challenge with a time limit on top of it doesn't really help my mental health, the natural state of that. And so because of that, the rendering isn't as in-depth as I have been doing with the other pieces. I intentionally made it more simple. But again, I really like the sketch and line art I did for this. Like, I think the pose with like the feet going forward, I think it's really cute. Again, it's really simple, but it gets the point across, and I like how it came out. TMI, part of the reason I was so depressed was because my boyfriend wasn't there with me. It's like the first time we had to spend quite a while apart from each other. So I might have been like crying, sobbing while drawing this. I don't really remember. But yeah, I really like it, and I'm super glad that he likes it too. Now it is revenge time. I don't know what the sound was supposed to represent, but it's revenge time, brothers. So I decided to do bust portraits for all of my revenges because I was just really itching to go detailed on some faces, but I have been loving doing the full body poses. I generally like to do full bodies more because it's easier for me to be more expressive with, you know, the whole body language and body movement. Also, I like drawing body parts, and I think it's more enjoyable when I have more enjoyable things to draw. But I still really like drawing up-close faces. I like drawing facial features, like putting eyes and noses together and getting more nuanced facial expressions. That's something I actually want to practice more now that I think about it. Looking at this drawing now, the highlights kind of irk me, mostly on the skin. I think if I had the chance to do this drawing again, I would just tone down the lighting on the skin. Like, something about it is just, is it too much? I don't know. But it was still a nice change of pace to do a portrait after several full bodies, and I do really love this character design. I think she's super cute. Did I say who it was? Oh shit, I don't think I did. This is Azalea by Blocks and Things. How I do art fight is I try my hardest to do revenges. Now, of course, no one in the game is obligated to do an exact, one-for-one trade, but it is something that I personally like to do, along with, leaving a comment on the person's original attack with my character. I regularly try to do revenges so I can show my true appreciation. Because, they drew my character. Do you know how crazy it is? Do you know how beautiful that is? And so, yeah, this is a revenge for Blocks and Things. The next revenge is the character Corvina by Donut Bomb. So this clip is maybe the longest of my time lapses, and the bullet points in my script are the shortest for this one. So let's see where I take you. The reason this clip is the longest, I think, is because of me rendering the hair, like coloring the hair. So listen, I love both Procreate and Clip Studio. I think they're both really good. I've used Ibis Paint before. I haven't really used Photoshop for like drawing and painting. I used Fire, Alpaca. I used a few programs, but I really like Procreate and Clip Studio. Something that Clip Studio has over Procreate is a goddamn gradient tool. I love the gradient tool. I would like to take him out for dinner. I love the gradient tool. Now, having said that, I decided to do the gradients on this character's hair manually with brush strokes and blending and whatnot, and that ended up taking a lot of time because I wanted to make it an acceptable level of smooth. I didn't want it entirely smooth because otherwise I would have used the gradient tool. But I wanted it to be like a nice sloppy smooth. And so that comment if you reach this far in the video, comment below sloppy smooth. Girl, that is sloppy smooth. Thank you. And yeah, I think think it was worth it. I think it's more interesting to look at because you can see the brush strokes in this character's hair and whatnot. Now, because of how bold the character felt to me, I ended up allowing myself to let her go outside of the frame and really take up the space. With the other portraits, you know, they were within the canvas, and that's what I planned on doing so that each of the drawings looked consistent with one another. But I just felt like this was the only way to portray Corvina accurately, because I mean, look at her, she's cool as shit. And I felt like she needed to be big and really take up space. So I kind of broke some of my own rules in order to get away with that. Speaking about what I said in the last clip about doing portraits, something else I really like about it is I like trying to fit a lot of colors into the face and hair. It's easier for me to do that than with like kind of a far away full body shot. And so that's something I really enjoyed doing with these portrait busts, was putting in more color, since that's something I was trying to focus on. For this year's art fight, I think that hair shine looks really nice, especially with like the lower pigtails. I feel like it works really well. Hair is actually something I'm not that great at doing, or I never get very detailed with it, and I think this piece actually has pretty like nice hair. It's something I don't normally do. I think it's pretty nice. And next up, this character belongs to another personal friend of mine. Shout out. This character is Bug from my friend the Meepster Cat. I was really excited to draw a portrait of a super smiley face. That is what Bug spoke to me, just like big stupid smile. I feel like this drawing was where my coloring process kind of became too obvious to me. So I have this habit of adding bright purple to the shadows, like on top of like a normal multiply layer shadow that looks a lot more natural. It's kind of my shortcut to making more colorful art, just like put like a bright purple in the deep shadows. But because every aspect of this character is a shade of brown or orange, then putting purple in every aspect of the drawing kind of made it feel too harmonious. And this isn't saying anything about the character design, this is entirely about how I chose to render it. I'm looking at it now, I'm not sure it completely works. I think if I could do it again, I would find a way to use multiple accent colors throughout the drawings, so that way it's more interesting to look at and the eye doesn't gloss over it quite as quickly. You know, as the video and my commentary goes on, I feel like I'm becoming a lot more critical, and I'm sorry, this probably sounds like my commentary probably sounds like super nitpicky now, nitpicky about myself, more so than I was in the beginning of the video. I'm just losing the plot, okay? This is 30 minutes long. I do like every single drawing I made in this video. And as long as the people I made the drawings for are happy, I'm happy. I just want to make sure that I make something that someone loves and accepts as a gift. I do really like the color on the highlights, or the color of the highlights, like the cheeks. That's probably my favorite part of the drawing is Bug's cheeks. I just think it's really cute. Next, we have the character Valia by the artist T. Blum. Now, I'm pretty sure I did this drawing pretty late into the month. I had to take a break after my previous revenge drawings, because again, I was just feeling that lethargy, very tired. I was finding it hard to get up and go to my laptop to draw. Now, drawing on my iPad and drawing with a graphics tablet, for me, they have very different feelings that I usually reserve for different types of drawings. What type of drawing goes with each hardware, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't explain it to you. I just know that it's something I feel. At this point in the month, I was thinking I could probably get more attacks done if I had just used my iPad and Procreate, but I was committed to sticking with Clip Studio Paint and the specific style I had developed with the brush pack I was using for this year's art fight. So I just had to take a break and do no drawings for a few days until I was ready to come back. So for this character, Valia, I really enjoyed drawing her facial expression. I love it when a character is annoyed by everything and the people around them, but they have no choice to be near them. I think it's hilarious, and it's a crutch I fall into quite frequently, but if it ain't broke. I really like how this drawing came out. The hair isn't very detailed, but the shapes I used for it are very pleasing to me. The style I used in terms of like the drawing and line art, it's probably what I would use for making full comics, which is kind of my career goal at this point, to illustrate for comics and graphic novels, and I think the style would work really well for that. I would change the coloring style, but the actual drawing style is really nice. I just think this character is so cute, and this final drawing makes me really happy to look at. I love how it came out. Oh yeah, and I put eyeballs because she has a bit of a supernatural storyline where she's just kind of annoyed by everything that happens around her. And the last rendered piece we have is Scotty by Vending Machine Man. I'm just gonna say it. Sometimes I just like to draw a character because they're non-binary. Sue me, lock me up, I will do it again. Like, honestly, I think that's what happened with this character. I was looking through Vending Machine Man's profile, and I saw that this one was non-binary, and I was like, yeah, that's the one. I'm also really pleased with how this drawing came out. I really like the line art and the sketch. I feel like I nailed the shading style that I had been trying to achieve this whole month with all the previous drawings. It took me until the final one, but that's just kind of how things go for me. I don't nail it until at the last possible second. I really, really wish I could have made more drawings, especially since I bookmarked so many characters, and they were all so cool. Like, I'm mourning every character I never got to truly know, but I'm still happy that I just got to be a part of this, and everyone I traded art with was super kind and super lovely and gracious to talk to, and yeah, this was just another art fight success. I don't know if this year was like the least amount of drawings I've ever done. My second year might have had fewer drawings than this year. But either way, I had a good time, okay? That's all that matters, you know? Now for the final extra speed paint. I had put off 3 revenge attacks for too long, and I didn't have enough time to make rendered portraits, but I decided I still wanted to make something. I still wanted to make revenges for these 3 artists' attacks, just to show my thanks. So I ended up making line art bust doodles of the 3 characters that I chose, and that includes Scallion by Morgy Corgi, who is actually a longtime internet friend of mine. Shout out Morg. Magnolia by Chamomile Fool, and Raphael by Bats in the Belfry. Thank all of you for drawing my character. I'm sorry that I didn't get to do a rendered piece of your characters. I'll try to do it next year. But I do think these doodles are really cute. I'm really happy with how they came out. I ended up switching to my iPad for this one, just so I could chill and draw them on the couch, because I ended up doing this, I'm pretty sure, on July 30th or 31st. I was just like, okay, final stretch, final nail in the coffin. And this is the end of the video, where I have neglected to write anything in the script for the outro. So let me try to make this short. Thank you to every artist who drew my characters. I love you to bits and pieces, as much as I love my children themselves. And I had a really good time drawing every one of these characters, even if I have so many stupid nitpicks about my drawings. I try not to be too negative. I just want to improve as an artist. But I do really like the art that I make, and I was really happy to draw other people's characters, and I was really glad that they all seemed to like the art that I made for them. And yeah, I was super excited for next year's art fight. I haven't unbookmarked all of the characters I didn't get to, so maybe I won't find any new characters next year, and I'll just pick from my stash. Maybe that'll make me feel less bad about not getting to people's characters. Anyways, I think that's probably all I should say. Summer is ending. I'm going to be going into my senior year of college, so I'll probably be very busy, but I'll try to make more videos just because I really like making videos. At the moment, I'm not getting paid for them. I'm not signed up with the YouTube partner program. I think that's what you have to do to get paid. I just like to make videos because I like video editing and I like sharing my art. And so a big thank you to anyone and everyone who does support me in my art by watching these videos. And yeah, I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye!